In the meantime, I'll also start recording. So still setting up. So we're going to be live as well. Okay. Okay, so we are live. Hi everyone, welcome back. I know a lot of you will be watching this video when it goes on the YouTube after it has ended, but we will always welcome question and answer even at the end. We have few people joining us as attendees, and this is the webinar fifth in our series for Young Climate Champions program. And today we have with us Dr. Ruby Makhija, who is a pioneer in the waste management category, for which we are going to be talking about today. So, Dr. Ruby, we have been doing these webinars every week on Saturday, sometimes on Friday, and we are talking about all the themes that are there in the Earth Care Awards Young Climate Champions program. So, maybe to the audience, I'll tell you a bit about what this program is, and at the end, I'll also summarize how you can be a part of it. So, Earth Care Awards is a JSW and Times of India award. It's one of the national award in India for environmentalists, for people who are doing something with their green ideas. And for the very first time, they have opened a category for the Young Climate Champion. That is people who are in college or who are just about to get in college. And you can submit your ideas. We have 6 categories. And today we're going to be covering the circular economy and waste management. And for that, we have Dr. Ruby Makhija, and she does not need an introduction because even if you go on Google and type her name, you'll get a lot of things about her. And we were just talking how wonderful it was when ma'am went to INC in Busan, and then she is the ambassador of Municipal Corporation of Delhi. She is the founder of Why Waste Wednesdays, and that brings me to the point. Maybe we could have done this on Wednesday as well. It would have been perfect, but yeah, every day is Earth Day, so why waste any day as well? And she is one of our Earth Day Network star as well, and amazing, wonderful things she has been doing. And Dr. Ruby was not primarily an environmentalist. She is a surgeon turned environmentalist. So this is purely a cause based. And when you hear from her story and how these ideas that people talk about, she has brought these ideas to life. And this category is all about the R, like all the R formulas that we all have been reading in since school. I think since third standard, we have been reading what is reuse, recycle, reduce, refuse, renew. But Dr. Ruby is the one who is leading this cause with an army of people to implement these R formulas onto the ground, not just individually, not just in your home, but in your society, in your city, state, and the nation, and now globally as well. So I think without any further ado, Dr. Ruby, it is now the ball is in your court to explain to these young individuals how they can also be a part of the journey. And by just adding their idea to this competition, they'll not just enter this journey of environmentalism, but there are a lot of awards and mentorship that also awaits for them. And Dr. Ruby itself is one of our mentor for that. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Rumit, for such a glorious kind of an introduction, which I don't know how much of it I deserve, but yes, really grateful to earthday.org and the entire team for putting this together because this was much, much needed. As you all know that, my engagement with youth comes right from the core of my heart, where I strongly believe that youth is the true change maker, and putting them in the driving seat, getting them involved, I think that's the only way to bring about a positive change. So truly, appreciate the initiative of young climate change makers. And I'm very sure this is not only going to encourage the youth to get more involved and engaged, but it would also bring about new energy, new ideas, uh, pep to the entire sector, which will further help us, kind of work towards a better environment all in all. So, yes, my journey, before I begin with my PPT, my journey into waste management sector, circular economy, single-use plastic, is all passion driven. Being a doctor, I was an eye surgeon, and 8 years back, somehow got a chance to, enter into the management of a small colony called Navjeevan Vihar in South Delhi. And it was very interesting. And there are no coincidences. That was also the year when solid waste management guidelines were launched by Ministry of Environment. And I think it was all meant to be, and it was my calling. And being a doctor per se, I always felt a very strong need to work towards a cleaner, environment, sanitation, hygiene, which could reduce a huge amount of, load of communicable diseases, which are so avoidable by taking very, very small steps. And waste management per se certainly has a huge impact on all industries, if I can say, but certainly on the health sector. And that is what drew me towards a waste management sector. So that's my little journey, and slowly, gradually, I tried to strike a balance between my medical profession and my passion towards a better environment. But somehow, when you're too passionate about something, striking a balance and drawing a boundary is very difficult. And now, a couple of years back, about 4 years back, I took a call to totally switch to the waste management sector. So here I am, and youth certainly, I love engaging and interacting with youth a lot. And a lot of my ideas and a support system that the young generation provides to not only to me personally, but also to Why Waste Wednesdays and to corporations working in this direction. I think I must appreciate the fact, and also the fact that India is the largest population having the youth for that matter. And I think the only way to bring about a positive change in this sector is to kind of involve and engage our youth into it. So let me share my PPT now, and here we could actually start. Rumit, is it visible? If you could just confirm.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, great. So once again, a big thanks to Earth Day team for putting this show together, and also giving a chance to our young change makers to bring their ideas on the table, the best ideas on the table, which can help, us also formulate certain initiatives in this sector, because this area truly needs a lot of work. Why youth? What is unique about youth? It's unique because they bring innovative solutions and fresh perspectives. They have a very high commitment level. They have a collective voice. Youth together, as I mentioned, with the highest youth population, I think, we certainly have a great opportunity here to bring about a positive change with their involvement. Then they resonate both with the present and also with the future. They think much ahead of what we think. So I think their vision is much more than what our vision is. And adaptability is something, I would say youth have taught me so many things in this area, that one should be flexible and adapt to change, which they do it so smoothly that there's hardly a transition there. So coming to waste management now, why should we manage our waste? If you could Google, as Rumit rightly said, Google some things, and when you would Google, and now we have Chat GPT also. So if you could put in, why should I manage waste? I think you'll get thousands and thousands of reasons as to why you per se, why I per se, why an individual should manage the waste. So, I mean, let me just zero it down to these couple of very hard-hitting reasons. We are the ones who generate waste. So something that kind of a problem that we've created, don't you think we also have a certain amount of responsibility towards managing that problem? Secondly, it's a mandate as per Indian government guidelines are concerned. And also, even bigger than that, we are the ones who are impacted by it. So I think these three reasons are good enough to convince anyone and everyone that we need to manage waste. Now, let me tell you some facts. What is the kind of waste generation that you all feel India is, has the figures? So it's 1.6 lakh metric tons of waste every single day. Can you imagine? 1 ton has 1,000 kgs and 1.6 lakh metric tons. This is a World Bank report that 77% of this is dumped, 18% is composted, and only 5% is recycled. So don't think that recycling is a license to producing more waste, right? We need to understand that very clearly. And we can prevent minimum 70% of this waste from going to the landfill site if we just do very simple basic things like segregating our waste. Delhi itself has landfill sites which are now touching the height of Qutub Minar. And we can always choose to blame the governments for it, that this is the government, this is the government, this is the government's responsibility. But as I gave you a couple of reasons, are we fulfilling our duty towards waste management, managing what we've created? If we are doing those basic things, then we can hold the government accountable. But the very basic step of managing waste is segregation, and that's mandated by Government of India, and we are just not able to even do that much. So what happens? Why do we keep preaching about segregation? Alag karo, gila, sukha, dry, wet waste should be separated. Why? Because most of the mixed waste that is picked up, we have no option but either to put it up on a landfill site, or send it to waste to energy plant where it can be burned. And both of them probably are not the best ways or the most responsible ways to deal with your waste. And it causes air, water, land pollution, toxic gas emissions. They have a huge impact on human health, cause a lot of diseases. Landfills have a discharge called leachate. It's a liquid discharge. And, this is highly, highly toxic, and it seeps into not only the soil, but also into the groundwater, causing water pollution. Ghazipur site, for an example, now you can imagine, see the height of this mountain of garbage. Can you imagine if this was right next to your house, a mountain of garbage? How would you feel about it? So now you see, there are nearly, see, lakhs of people living within the 10-kilometer radius of this landfill site. And the nearest settlement is just 200 meters away. And when we cross the highway on going towards Punjab, Chandigarh, Haryana, that side, we roll up our windows. We don't even want to look at that side. But there are people who are actually living very close to it. There are people who are working on these landfill site. In fact, a couple of years back, in around, I think, 2017, 50 tons of this, a part of this mountain of garbage, it hurtled down, and, it led to two people losing their lives. And the nearest water body is just 2.5 kilometers away, the Sanjay Lake, and Yamuna is only 7 kilometers away. So the amount of toxins and pollutions that we are seeping into the environment, you can just have a little amount of idea from this particular image. And if we feel that this is only impacting people who are living in the vicinity, yes, they're the first ones to get impacted, but we are not far away. Because one, the Yamuna is feeding us also. Two, the fruit and vegetables that we are, getting from this belt, we are eating those as well. Three, the groundwater is common, the air is common, so eventually it's going to reach us. So don't think that the ones who are living next to it are the ones who are impacted. All of us are. And segregation, what is the problem with segregation? All you need to do is separate your waste into three simple categories. It's not a rocket science. You know, green waste, the wet waste, which is compostable, which consists of your fruit, vegetable peels, your leftover food, your tea leaves, your eggshells, right? Then you have your dry waste, which is your paper, plastic, metal, glass, anything which is not compostable. And the third variety, which is the type of waste which can either cause injury or infection, like your expired medicines, your sanitary napkins, a dead pest, maybe a broken glass or a syringe or a blade. These are the things that should go separately. Simple. I'm not asking you to sit down and separate these three variety of waste. All we are asking you is not to mix it in the first place, because once you mix it, there's no technology which can 100% segregate it, and then we are left with no other option but to dispose it off in the most unscientific manner. And if you segregate, the least we can do is at least the wet waste can be composted, the dry waste can be recycled, and the hazardous waste can be disposed of, incinerated without causing injury or infection to anyone. Now, just think about it, that something that we have created as a problem, there are people who are getting infected because of the waste that we create. What is the point of us being educated, doctors, engineers, lawyers, entrepreneurs you become, but if the problem created by you is being dealt, is causing, impacting other people's, the poor garbage collectors lives who are lesser privileged than us, negatively causing diseases and injuries to them, don't you think it's actually quite shameful? I think we really need to reflect there. Now, I'll give you one example which we did. This is a study, case study of Navjeevan Vihar, my first project, you can say. It's a 250 household colony. And for the last or close to now 6 years, we have been maintaining a zero waste to landfill model. We are practicing 100% wet waste segregation at source. We are having 100% kitchen waste and garden waste composting in the colony. We have dry resource segregation, and we link it up with the recyclers. No contribution. This says 4 years, but please, it's a mistake. It's almost 6 years we've not contributed to any landfill site. We have crockery bank that you could borrow to avoid disposable, plastic or, thermocol cutlery. You can use it and return it free of cost inside the colony. We manage fabric waste, electronic waste, paper, plastic, metal waste are all segregated and sent to individual recyclers. We closed our big dustbin called Dhalao. That was 6 years back. And after that, we never required it. We have 9 rainwater harvesting pits in the colony. So if this small colony of 250 households can do it, I'm very sure with a little, kind of a persuasion and will and desire to do it, everyone else also can do it. Coming to plastic now, this is a subject which is very close to my heart, and it's related to circular economy, because till now we have been having a model of linear economy. Take the resources, make the product, create the waste. Take, make, waste. Now that's a linear kind of a economy, and we need to somewhere make it circular, that whatever you take, you return also. So here plastic occupies a big portion. Of course, electronic waste now is one of the most toxic forms of waste, which is coming as a new, not so new, but yes, now the kind of problems, the alarming levels that we are seeing of, unscientific electronic waste disposal is also alarming. But plastic is something that we can actually avoid. So people say plastic is bad, but why? What is it that has made plastic indispensable? It is cheap, easily available, leak-proof, lightweight, good insulator, strong. It can be molded into anything. It is transparent and very easy. Rather, it's a byproduct. So when we say plastic has so many properties, it has made life so convenient. What is it that has made plastic such a big problem? So actually, it's not plastic. It's a miracle material, if you ask me. I'm a doctor, and I can just share that if I ask tomorrow that, plastic should be banned, it is my life-saving industry, my sector, which will be impacted, because all our tubings, all our, pipes and all, everything is coming in single-use plastic, which is indispensable. But then there are things that can be avoided. There are ways how we can deal with the plastic problem. And what is it that has made plastic a problem? It is what we choose to do with the plastic is what is the problem, not plastic per se as a material. Now, 36% of all plastic that we use is single-use plastic. It is thrown away within few minutes of its first use. And only 9% of plastic waste that is produced in the world is recycled. Why is it that we are not able to recycle? Is because, one, we do not practice segregation. Two, we do a lot of littering. So if you have a chips packet somewhere, you're going up the hill on a trek and you throw it down somewhere in the valley, who's going to go down into the valley to pick it up and collect? So littering and not segregating the waste are two main reasons why we are not able to kind of recycle what can be recycled. Apart from these, there are other reasons: collection gaps, enforcement gaps, and so on and so forth. But these two main reasons, that we are not segregating and we are littering a lot, is the main cause why we are not able to recycle the recyclable things. Also, overconsumption. Now, overconsumption, I'll give you an example again from my medical industry. Suppose you fall sick and you go to a doctor, and he or she gives antibiotics, and you get okay within 2 to 3 days. So antibiotic work well. But what if you start feeling that this is a superfood and you keep consuming this food, and think that, instead of having food, I'll just have antibiotics. We all know what is going to happen. This is precisely what has happened to plastic. We've started mindlessly using plastic where it is not required. One cucumber wrapped up in plastic. Why is it required? Cloth bags. Earth Day did such a fantastic campaign. I remember last year when they brought over 2,000 cloth bag distributions were done to encourage and motivate people to switch to cloth bags. Well, shopkeepers don't find this very interesting to be giving you plastic bags. But if you don't carry a cloth bag with you, how will and why should they make it available? We can carry a 500, 300-gram mobile phone here in my hand, but we choose not to carry a cloth bag. So that is something which we really need to introspect. I'll give you the numbers. Worldwide, 5 trillion plastic bags are used every single year. This is if we put all these bags together, it will cover an area almost double the size of country France. So you can imagine that's just 1 year impact. And if we talk about plastic bottles, 1 million plastic bottles, 10 lakh plastic bottles every single minute. Can you actually imagine what is the kind of impact? Our world is choking in plastic. It's choking every life form. And still, we choose to keep our eyes closed, thinking this is not happening. This is unreal. It is happening somewhere else. It will never impact us. We all need to sit down seriously and think about the impact that our actions are creating. And it's not only for the environment. Let me tell you, somewhere I was reading the news a couple of months back, which said that plastic, of course, plastic, one, before I tell you that, plastic doesn't get composted. It breaks down. Even after 500, 1,000 years, it will just break down into microplastic. And this microplastic has been found in the air that you breathe, in the water that you drink, even in the table salt that you eat, even in the breast milk, the placenta of the unborn, child in mother's womb. The plastic has been found. So you can imagine, children being born with plastics inside their bodies. And now there's something called nanoplastic, which has come up, which is even smaller than microplastic. And let me share some piece of news with you. that 1 liter of water bottle that you buy thinking that it is very hygienic from the market in a plastic packaging has over 7 lakh nanoplastic particles in it. Now imagine it's going right. It's a direct consumption. And every single human being is ingesting 5 gram of plastic every single week. Now, 5 grams is about the size of a credit card. So you're chewing a credit card every single week. Can you imagine? And you think you're not going to be impacted? It's already entered your food chain through your table salt, to your livestock, through your seafood. It's coming back to you. And unless and until each of us human beings resolve to deal with this problem, I think it's really an alarming situation. We've almost, kind of reached a point of no return. And still, if we refuse and close our eyes to the problem, we all can imagine what we are headed towards. It has been found to cause cancers, nervous system problem, lungs problem, reproductive organ problems in animals. And you can keep waiting all your life for the studies on human beings to come back to you and tell you that plastic is injurious. Can't the increasing, rising incidence of cancers these days tell you that there is something in our lifestyle which is going wrong? This is it. Cleaning, transporting, shipping of this plastic, it costs billions and billions of dollars just for that little small convenience of a few minutes. So we all need to kind of resolve today after we get this data to kind of do what we can. I'll tell you what we can do about the problem of plastic. So what is single-use plastic? I've already defined: cigarette butts, drinking bottles, bottle caps, wrappers, plastic bag, plastic lids, straws, stirrer, disposable club, glasses, plates, cutlery, takeaway containers. These are just few examples. So nearly 50% of plastic waste generated globally is from plastic packaging, single-use plastic. I've already told you the data on plastic bags. So, and 79% of the entire plastic which is used globally ends up on a landfill site, 12% incinerated and 9% only recycled. Now, why? What was it that has replaced the traditional material now into plastic? Milk, we used to use a glass or a metal bottle. Now we've moved to pouches. Toiletries, paper, glass. Now we used to pouches or films. Cement bags, fertilizer bags used to be in jute. Now they are HDP, plastic bags and woven sacks. Toothpaste used to be in metal, when we were kids, and now it's a plastic lamy tube. So things have changed, I mean, over time, convenience has taken over. And this convenience and comfort now has stretched way too far to impact our own lives. And we really need to sit down and think how we can cut down on these comforts so that at least we can have a bigger, a better and a brighter future for the youth tomorrow. What are we leaving for them? So it's them only who can work with our generation and help us, educate us, motivate us, mobilize us to take up this cause. What are the challenges now that why we are not able to switch from plastic? Because there's hardly any equivalent alternative, equivalent in terms of either it is not available or it is very expensive. Then in irresponsible individual behavior, like I told you, overconsumption and in irresponsible disposal, littering. Then poor waste management systems. Of course, governments are working whatever they can, but still there's a lot to be done in improving the waste management systems. Awareness level is very, very low. And awareness is actually not translating into action. Now, that's the biggest thing. All of us know plastic is bad, we should segregate, but we are not acting upon it. Lifestyle is use and throw, package stuff, e-commerce, food deliveries. You can go on and on and on. Inadequate time we give to phasing out of or after a ban. and certainly deficiencies in enforcement. Also, COVID-19 has given us a feeling that anything which comes in a packet is clean and hygienic, and anything which is available in open is not hygienic. So there something has gone wrong with our mindset, and we need to come back to our original traditional habits. Now, a couple of items for your information that have been banned by the government of India. Carry bags. Now, in today's date, if you see the carry bags made out of plastic, which are less than 120 microns in thickness, have been banned since 31st December 2022. And the other, fabric looking or a cloth looking bag, which has now replaced them, that's also not a cloth. It's actually a non-woven plastic, and that also is mandated to be over 240 microns. Now, how do you get to know the micron? You will not go with a micrometer in your hand. So government has mandated that, all the plastic bags and the non-woven plastic bags should be stamped. And a stamp should carry the name and the address of the manufacturer, the micrometer thickness of that plastic bag, and also their State Pollution Control Board or Central Pollution Control Board license number, which can make the manufacturers also accountable. So that's one thing which we all need to know, that any bag, any plastic bag or a non-woven plastic bag which is unstamped is illegal. What other things? Earbud with plastic sticks for balloons, plastic flags, candy sticks, ice cream sticks, thermocol. All of these items in thermocol also: plates, cup, glasses, forks, spoons, knives, straws, trays made either out of plastic or out of thermocol. All of this is also banned. Wrapping or packaging film around the sweet boxes, invitation cards. Now look at the convenience. Wrapping up an invitation card also in plastic. Cigarette boxes, all of this is also banned. Plastic PVC or flex banners under 100 microns are also banned, and stirrers in plastic are also banned. These are declared banned items by Government of India across all states. There's no exception to this rule. So you all need to know this, so as if you see these items being sold or used somewhere, you can actually educate people that this is a banned item, it's an illegal item which you are using. Now, plastic waste management rules, I've already told you. This is, these are the few things about the stamp. Also, there's a new variety, cornstarch or compostable bags, though I do not personally kind of endorse these bags because they will again be littered, and if they call it compostable, they're compostable in ideal industrial conditions, which never happens because they are generally littered here and there, which again is not, if not as bad as plastic, but it is quite close to it. So each of those compostable bags, also if in circulation, should be stamped. They should not be unstamped. They should also read compostable bags. Now, what is a waste management hierarchy? What are the best ways by which we can manage the waste? First is prevention. How do we say? Now I come to what we can do about it. Prevention would be, you've heard of ours, Rumit just mentioned ours: reduce, reuse, recycle. But even before reduce, now we have refuse. Now we also have repair. We also have recover. We also have repurpose. So these are the solution. So when we say refuse, think 10 times before you buy anything, that we actually need that thing, or are we just buying it because we desire it? There's a difference between need and desire. We all need to understand that. So reduce, first is refuse, then minimize, reduce, then reuse. So if your clothes, your books, your stationery, your toys, your footwear, your furniture, your utensils, if there are any items which you don't want to use, you can send it across. Government of India has now, established a few RRR centers: reduce, reuse, recycle. You can send it there so that that can be channelized to various NGOs which are working with the lesser privilege, something which you've discarded. It's not a waste. Discard is something which I do not need, and waste is something which is of no use to anyone. So realizing that difference and sending your discard, your gently used stuff, to places which can be put it to reuse. You can do that. We have one triple R center which is running round the clock 24 by 7 by 365 in Navjeevan Vihar. If people staying in Delhi can just fast these items, and not only these items, your electronic waste, your paper waste, your plastic waste can be sent across to us, and round the clock we accept this, and we are the ones who sort it and then further channelize it to the places which require this for either for reuse, and if it's a total waste, then we send it to the licensed recyclers. Then other recovery, including energy recovery, which I just told you, waste to energy. Then below in that chain is also landfill site. Now this is a sanitary landfill site, but what we have in Delhi is actually not a sanitary, it's the most insanitary landfill site. Then is controlled deposit, deposit. And then is the uncontrolled. So that's from the most preferred to the least preferred waste management practices. So if we all sit down and reflect a bit, a lot can happen. A lot can happen. Just switching. I was just, we've just launched a new initiative of recycled paper use. And if you use a recycled paper instead of a regular paper, you end up with a rim. If you know the rim of paper with 500 A4 copier paper, if you use 500 of those, you end up saving 4.6 kilograms of wood and 68 liters of water. So imagine the kind of impact that only alone you can have. If alone you switch to a cloth bag, you end up saving 500 plastic bags every year. So in a lifetime, you can save up to 80,000 plastic bags. That's alone your impact. Alone, you can divert 4,000 kilograms of waste from the landfill site. You matter. And that is what you have to realize. Each one of us matters. And when each one of us would come together to adopt the best practices, collective impact of all of us is what is going to bring about a real change. But that can't happen overnight. That cannot happen without you people getting involved into this. So I hope, after today's session, we can take ownership of waste. We can rethink the way we manufacture, use, and dispose of plastic and other waste items also, and differentiate between waste and discard. We can be mindful, we can refuse, we can reduce, we can start segregating, we can work. Some of you entrepreneurs can come up with real startup ideas and work on how to make good alternatives to single-use plastic and make it easily available. I'll come up with a very good example that we did, in single-use plastic alternatives. Then educate people, spread this awareness, support the initiatives that are working against single-use plastic, because every little bit matters. Start questioning people around you, the shopkeepers, the consumers, friends, family, relative. Talk to them, tell them that, this is important and we need to change our habits. So talking about Vikalp, now we brought in Vikalp, and I'm very proud to say that Earth Day is also a partner in this initiative, and also another very important initiative related to youth, which is Students versus Plastic. And we, these two of Why Waste Wednesdays initiatives in association with Municipal Corporation of Delhi and Earth Day, is causing a huge impact. So when we came across the problem of, people not being able to switch to an eco-friendly bag, we found out the reasons, and the reasons were very genuine. I was coming from an office, I was not carrying a cloth bag, I had no other option to carry the stuff back home because there were no cloth bags available in the market. I have 4 or 5 cloth bags in at home, but it's just that I forget to carry that cloth bag. I'm buying stuff worth rupees only 20. How can I spend more on a cloth bag? So all these reasons were genuine. And for shopkeepers, they have to give something to their consumer to carry their stuff back, and plastic is the cheapest. And if they either spend out, they can't spend out of their pocket to give cloth bags to each of their consumers, and also if they start preaching to the consumer to bring their own cloth bag from home, they can do that to a little extent. But beyond that, people choose to move on to another shop who's not preaching, at least. So it's a loss for them. So we brought in this initiative called Borrow a Bag, and now not 750, we have almost 1,000 Vikalp stalls in association with MCD and NDMC, from where you could borrow a cloth bag against 20 rupees deposits. It's a deposit, deposit return scheme, and each bag carries a QR code, and that QR code leads you to the list of all the stores, Vikalp stores, from where you could just return your bag and take your full refund of 20 rupees. So this was something that we brought in as a disruptive innovation, which could actually bring about an impact, and it's actually working very impactfully in Delhi. But I'm sure there's a lot more that we can do in this initiative also. Once the enforcement becomes stricter, I think a lot of people will switch to eco-friendly initiatives. So a few references: MCD, NDMC, SDMC, CPCB, DPCC, UNEP. Now, how you can get involved also, what is the starting point? The starting point is today, and right now. Get informed, get involved, and make it a way of your life first. Identify other people, strategize them, sensitize them, and spread this initiative. You make an use of you can make use of various media, nukkad nataks, puppet shows, drives, social media. You all know, and you have a great followership. The collective impact that you all can have is unmatched. Integrate waste management into your live stream and lead by example, not just by preaching, right? The youth involvement in waste management and sustainability is not just a choice for us, it's a necessity. It is our country, and we must do our bit to bring about a change so that we get a better country. And let's get down to it. Let's get started. Let's get involved, because the best time to do it is now, and the only way to do it is together. So, my request to you all, people who are listening to me, is that this is actually not a choice now. It is a necessity. It is the need of the hour. Let's do our bit so that we can have a cleaner, greener environment, a safe environment for our future generation, for the youth, by the youth. It has to be a movement by you and for you. Thank you so very much for sparing our time. I'm very happy to take any questions, any suggestions, any inputs. Thank you, Rumit. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was amazingly informative and very interactive. I would say people were having conversations around in chat box. Ma'am had said this and things like that. So it was very lively, I would say. And all of you must have got so many ideas already, because Vikalp itself is a huge idea. It's being implemented in all across India now. How with just a thought, Dr. Ruby came up with an idea and she's implemented it. She shared with people, and that's how you all can also make a difference, because sometimes when we come up with these ideas we forget to share with people and we forget to act on it. So, and somebody said to me that whenever an idea comes, it's the time of the idea. So you, if you go ahead and take that idea, it will take you to places. But if you don't do, maybe somebody else can come up with the same idea and they will be acting on it. So what you can do best, this Earth Care Awards Young Climate Champions program is an opportunity for you to apply for these amazing ideas. It doesn't have to be always technical. It could be a policy recommendation. It could be an idea like Vikalp, who can be very, which can be very impactful on the ground with just simple idea in your mind. It could be a psychological generic idea as well. It could be an educational program, an application, a website, a device that you have in your mind, and you don't have to have a prototype right now. It's just you can have an idea. So you can see behind Dr. Ruby, the QR code is there, but I've been sharing the link with you all, so you can go to that link, register yourself, and we'll be sharing the details of Earthcare Awards and how you can apply for that with you as well. Uh, Irrespective, if you are not able to get link somewhere, just Google and type Earth Care Awards. On Earth Care Awards website, you will see Young Climate Champions program, and there's the page where you need to apply. It's a very small form. You have six categories like mission life. Today we heard about circular economy, waste management. We have biodiversity. We have communities, climate resilience. We have water conservation. So all these different categories where you can put in your ideas, and several people will be shortlisted to make pitch to the jury after the shortlisting one, and then you'll be maybe called to the national round as well for the final pitch as well. So it's just a initiative to promote your ideas, to encourage you, to give you recognition, so that you do not end up just having your idea in your mind. It's time for you to put your ideas from mind to the computer, I would say. And a lot of thank you in the chat box, ma'am, because everybody is having giving their comments. I cannot see any questions because for one fact I know it was very very right to the point and very explainable as well. However, we have one: can we use single use plastic wrappers and bottles to create eco-friendly tables and chairs?
Yes.
So I
So,
think that's when people have been seeing also nowadays.
yes, yes, yes. So it's as I said that we have a triple R center in Navjeevan Vihar, and you all are most welcome to send all your spare items that you do not require, all your electronic waste, paper waste, plastic waste to us. We accept 24 hours and we send it to recycling. And in return, we give notebooks to government school children. We give kind of plastic benches, desks, etc. Provide to communities in exchange of this plastic waste, paper waste, and electronic waste. So you're more than welcome. You can take the details, the kind of the GPS location and our mobile numbers from Rumit. You could circulate that as well, and
Definitely.
we're more than happy. At least we at one point, I strongly believe that a solution is required, and unless and until we provide that solution, bans are not going to help. Just mere preaching is not going to help. So that is why I come to you with the solution, saying that please send it to us, and we'll be more than happy to ensure that what you send to us is managed in the most responsible manner.
Wonderful. And I think that's a very interesting way to wrap this webinar as well. And as ma'am said, it's open 24-hour because environmental things has to happen 24 hours. Please join people like Dr. Ruby in these amazing initiatives. If you want to take this initiative ahead in your locality, we would love to get you in touch with Dr. Ruby. As she said, I'll be sharing the contact information with all of you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And thank you so much, Dr. Ruby, for accepting this invite. We will continue to engage you in these activities, and it's always an honor listening to you. Thank you, everyone.
Pleasure. Thank you so much to Earth Day for actually, taking forward such initiatives and encouraging, motivating, and supporting people who are working against so many odds to make this happen. And don't feel, nobody should feel alone in this journey. We all are there with you. You just take one step, and we are there to come, 10 steps, 1,000 steps to you to support you in your endeavor. Thank you.